Guys, thanks for tuning in to Chasing Gains Radio, episode 3. We've got an amazing guest today, so we're going to be going through a lot of topics. Our guest today is a personal training mentor. He's successfully launched his PT business and taken that to over $100,000 in the first 3 months. So he's massively successful, and he's just going to be sharing his wisdom with us and giving us some great recommendations on those coaches starting out in the fitness industry, and also some great content for experienced coaches as well as some mindset tips for any of those athletes or aspiring athletes out there as well. So be sure to share the podcast once you've had a listen, and hashtag Chasing Gains Radio to ask any questions that you want answered on the podcast, and have any guests that you want on. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the podcast. Chasing Gains Radio, the insatiable quest for constant progression. Chasing is the act of pursuing. Gains is the result or positive outcome. Chasing Gains Radio. Here's your host, Cody McAuliffe. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in this week. Episode 3 of Chasing Gains Radio. We've got an amazing guest on today. So he's a massively successful personal trainer. He's actually started out in the military, and he recently left that to pursue his career in the fitness industry. He's massively successful in that. He's done a couple of things that very few people in the fitness industry have actually done themselves. So he's had no previous experience like running a PT business, but he's actually launched a facility successfully, and the PT Success Academy that teaches new fitness professionals how to become industry leaders. So a lot of the current PTs that we have in the industry are kind of lacking in a little bit of skill and knowledge. So he's just really looking to make a change to that, both now and in the future. So without further ado, here's this week's guest, Darren Bruce. Thanks for coming, Darren.
Yeah, no worries, Cody. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome. So we'll get straight into it. What's kind of your history about the fitness industry, and I'll get you run through a bit about your military career and stuff as well.
Yeah, well, like in regards to the fitness industry, it's probably best to just break it down so you get a bit of an idea of me, man. Like before I could walk, I was hitting a golf ball along the lounge room floor with a tablespoon. You know, I just wanted to. I'd climb over the front gate, and Mum would have to put a fake spider there so I wouldn't climb it when I was 2 years old, climb a carport roof. So I just loved movement. Like, all I ever wanted to do was any kind of movement, any kind of sport. I played all different sports throughout growing up, so I was always interested in, fitness and different forms of movement and that sort of stuff. And like I was pursuing a semi-professional career there in rugby league and rugby union.
Yeah, cool.
Throughout my sort of teenage years, and that was my big dream and goal to play with the best and do the best. And at the same time, when I was about 17 or 18, I did my personal training course.
Yeah, cool.
So that was when I stepped into the fitness industry, and I did that course, and I was a personal trainer for about 2 years or so. It was helping me with what my bigger goal was to like I said, become a professional athlete in rugby league and rugby union at the time, and I pursued that for a while. I moved to Brisbane to pursue that, and played in the Queensland Cup, and which is a step below the top rugby league players in the country.
Sure.
And I sort of gave that up because I met a mentor who was a physical training instructor in the military. So I was always, I was part of PT, but after a couple of years, from when I was 17, 18, I sort of stopped it, and we'll get back to that. I know we're going to talk a bit about a personal trainer that's new and in that position. I met a guy who was in the military as a physical training instructor, and it was more important for me to do what he did, which was it's like an advanced version of a personal trainer, and get the leadership skills that he had. So when I met him, I really just focused everything. Things fell to the wayside in regards to really pursuing my dream for professional sport, because leadership was more important to me. Learning it and coaching other people through health and fitness. So was really sort of in a way I started to get in touch with what was more important to me, most important to me, more than actually an actual career as an athlete. Also coaching others, and that's what made me realise by giving that up and taking on that role in the military. And I was the second fastest person to be promoted into that position as a physical training instructor. Within about a year, which usually takes some people on my course would try for 10 years. So I pushed through that, and then from there I was in the military for a total of 4 years, and I took a big leap into starting my business from leaving the military. But I really developed a passionate vision behind what the business would be and what the ultimate outcome would be before I started the business. And then I really gained. I put all the people in the right position. Like I said, I had no experience in business, but I managed to create a 6-figure business and open a facility within a 3-month period of time of starting it from leaving the military. And I've now got 1 employee, 1 coach, and launched a mentorship program to help personal trainers be able to get better results for people and help more people, and explode, grow their business and create a long-term business that not only survives but thrives. So that's my experience there, man. I can tell you a bit about mentors, people I've learned things from. It's a bit more about my experience. So I guess when I started, when I was 17 or 18, I did my course through the Australian Institute of Fitness.
What was
my other influences from there were doing the Australian Strength and Conditioning Association, just level 1, which is, it's just a 2-day course. I learned a couple of basic things there. But because I was always interested in every kind of movement, even when I stopped personal training for a while, I was still learning things because I was always speaking and staying behind and learning from the different strength and conditioning coaches that were training some of the best athletes in the world in rugby league for the teams that I was playing for. Melbourne Storm feeder team, Brisbane Broncos feeder team. So still gaining knowledge in that area. Really, my extensive knowledge has now come in the last 2 years, being part of Real Movement Project with Keegan Smith, who's got a global community of world-class coaches, and he himself has trained people such as Sonny Bill Williams, one of the best athletes in the world, in my opinion. Coach Ben Garrard, the guy who's just been the highest placing Australian in the World CrossFit Games. The list goes on. So, amazing amount of education through that. Also practical application and practical experience. My job in the military was a massive step in experience in the fitness industry, because I think that leadership is something that's really lacking in personal trainers, and I feel like I'm proof that it goes a long way anyway, because I think that the ability to connect and build rapport and build the strong human connection with the people that you're coaching and training is highly underestimated. And I've I'll mention my podcast, Life with Coach Bruce podcast. I appreciate you listening, by the way, Cody. This is how we got in touch for anyone that's listening.
It's an amazing podcast. You have to listen to it if you haven't already.
Yeah, thanks, man. So I've interviewed some of the best strength and conditioning coaches in the world, and I've asked them, what's the first book that you direct a strength and conditioning coach or a personal trainer to? And they've said, I'm directing to a book around coaching, or how to win friends and influence people, or a book called Mastery. And this is all about, conversations with people and being self-aware, and also by being self-aware you can connect with people and be more aware of them and what's important to them, and build that strong connection. Because at the end of the day, I just don't think that a lot of people, especially the people that I'm trying to affect, are the people who are overweight, obese, that they don't believe in themselves enough that they actually can live a healthier life and lose the weight and keep it off. And
definitely.
A lot of the time, you as the coach needs to believe in them more than they believe in themselves. So that takes a matter of actually knowing what their strengths and weaknesses are, and sometimes a lot of the time, knowing what their strengths are more than they know what their strengths are. And I've experienced that a lot in people being so incredibly grateful and thankful for some of the things that I've said or pointed out about them, because they're just not aware of it themselves, and it's part of the reason why they are at that level of health, because there's just too much negative self-talk going on, because they actually don't realise what their skill set is and what they're really successful at.
Yeah, and what their potential is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's our job. I think one of my mentors said it recently. Who is in a better position to affect someone's life than a personal trainer?
Yeah, definitely.
I wholeheartedly believe that 95% of people come to you not for the reason that they tell you. They really want some more sort of happiness fulfillment in some way. If someone comes to you and goes, I just want to lean up, or I want to be able to deadlift 50 kilos, that's not it. There's always an emotion lying behind whatever the goal is. So that thing that's driving them is the thing that you want to tap into. If you get them to trust you enough, then you can talk about that emotion. And I've had conversations where someone hasn't been losing weight, they feel terrible about themselves, they know they should eat breakfast, they don't eat breakfast, and then we talk about, I had this conversation with this girl, why do you want to lose weight? And she's like, because I want to apply for a new job, I want to further my career. And I said, well, what's the emotion behind that? She goes, we'll give me more confidence to do that. I said, well, do you need to lose 2-4 kilos in order to apply for that job and get more confidence? She goes, yeah, I do. I go, no, you actually don't. If you took the action right now and did that, then you can allow yourself to have an emotion at any time. And that conversation, all of a sudden, she lost the weight within like a week or two. And that's the sort of stuff that is highly underestimated in our industry. Yeah,
for sure. What do you think the biggest barrier is for people when they're first starting out, like for clients that come to see you? Do you think it's that emotional barrier? Is it just lack of knowledge, lack of skill? What do you think it is? What's the biggest barrier?
There'd be a split. So this would depend on the type of personality person that you experience. So a good way to define that would be how Precision Nutrition do so. So if you guys don't know who Precision Nutrition is, it's online nutrition coaching created by John Berardi. He's got a PhD in nutrition. He's very well known in the industry, writes in all the magazines and everything. And they've coached people to successful weight loss or online nutrition coaching, I think over 100,000 people. So they know what they're talking about. Yeah, it's a lot. Everything's science-backed. So they put people into 3 different categories. I think the first one would be someone who is lack of self-belief and non-compliance. Then you've got someone who will be perhaps lack of self-belief and compliance. So that would be the person who needs the education and just the continuous routine to build their belief in themselves, or through the coach or anything. And then you've got the other person who high self-belief, high compliance. So I might not be bang on with those 3 types of personalities, but you get the idea. So I see that the most common one will be the lowest one, which is low compliance and low self-belief. So most of the time that will be a combination of things where it's, the education. So a lot of the conversations that I've had, look, I've spoken to over 500 to 1,000 different females and males wanting help with their health and fitness. And it's either I don't have the motivation, I'm stuck in a rut, or I can't lose weight, I'm plateauing. I need to know what exercises to do to lose weight. So, I mean, the fact that someone will say, what exercises do I need to do to lose weight, means that they're either don't realise that food is the most important thing, or they're avoiding the fact that food's the most important thing because they know that they stuff it up. So, the most common situation would be someone who has just, their lifestyle has taken over their nutrition, and it's understandable because of the world that we live in today. The things that are usually put in place, which would be like the right kind of nutrients in the morning that make someone actually believe, they say, I'm an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 confident to keep this in my eating routine for a long period of time. In regards to nutrition coaching, that would be really difficult for the general population to actually know that that's what they need to do. So remember that whatever you're giving to someone nutritionally they need to be really confident that they're going to implement. Otherwise, you're just giving them a meal plan that they're eventually going to stop. And when that stops, their routine of their lifestyle takes over again. So it becomes virtually useless regardless of what results they see. This needs to be something that's going to be ingrained into their routine.
Yeah, and create that habit to be able to get those results long term. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So in regards to like taking all that into account with personal trainers when they first come into the industry, do you think they have the knowledge or the skills to be able to implement those kind of things to overcome whatever the concern is, or do you think they are probably lacking a few in those skills? So like I have a history of I used to be the campus director for the Australian Institute of Personal Trainers, so I was actually training personal trainers, and what I kind of found is the information that we kind of go through in the course is probably not enough for making that dramatic change in the fitness industry. They've kind of got that baseline level, but there is none of that kind of leadership kind of training and stuff. Do you think that's kind of an area that's lacking in the fitness industry when people first start out, or?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a big reason why I grew up feeling like I was never the person that was leading, or, if I was in a sports team or a group of people, I was always the follower, and I wanted people to follow me. I wanted to be a good leader, and I didn't know how to do that. And that was why I have pursued that and continue to pursue that, and now have people saying, "Oh, you're a great leader," that sort of stuff, because I put others first, which is a part of great leadership. It's not about me, So I definitely think that it's massively missing, and this. I think the two most important things for personal trainers when they're doing this certificate, first, this is my opinion, that the things that you're learning, they're based off this, mundane set of competencies that the government has said you have to know in order to not be liable to someone injuring themselves or affecting their health in a negative way. This is in my opinion, this is 99% of the reason why you need to do this course. So the only way that you're ever going to really level up and be able to help people more is by life experience, by practical application. And then the fastest way that you'll be able to do that is by investing in yourself, people who are doing it already, exactly like I have. Like, I've spent over $30,000 within a 1 year period of time to learn from the best strength and conditioning coaches in the world, the best business coaches in the world. There has to be done. There's no other way. Otherwise, you're just going to be another one of those personal trainers who I see all the time in corporate gyms who just don't know what they're doing. And I can tell by the exercises they're doing. And that's the first thing. But the second thing, which is the thing that fully changed everything for me, man, this changed my life. I spent 2 years as a personal trainer. I quit because I had someone run out of me because I had a boxing session with her, and I pushed her because I have these leadership skills, and I said, you can pretend it's my face if you want, you can punch the pads. I now look back and I know all the issues that she had. She was very lack of low self-belief, self-esteem. She needed someone just to talk to and build that relationship, that connection with, and realize that, you were invested in her and what she actually wanted to achieve and change her life and change her health. And, whether it's for that reason or thinking that, pursuing a professional career in sport was more important to me, it wasn't more important to me because I've done a full 360 now. And the thing that's changed and the thing that's made my business successful is that I created a vision of how, like, the things that are most important to me, health, physical movement, helping people in that way, because, the things that are most important to you is what are the skills that you should be serving others with, where, we're put here to actually serve others. It's a big part of our purpose. So my vision is to change 1 million lives through health on a global scale through my company, whether it's mentoring PTs or it's, through the facilities that we're opening. So that's what changed everything for me. That's what drives me. That's what's got me the mentors, whether they were free or paid. That's what drew me to those people, because that's the vision. And as long as you are clear on that vision that you want, everything else will be working itself out. You'll be pushing in that direction. So if I was a new personal trainer, the first thing I'd be doing is like, what do I want my legacy to be? And this should be over currency as well, because when your legacy is reached, the currency will come. But the most important thing is the legacy that you leave, the people that you've made a difference to, because no one's going to remember what you've done for yourself. Everyone's going to remember what you've done for others.
Yeah, definitely true. So with, you mentioned create a vision. Do you do that when you're consulting with people as well? Create a vision for their health and fitness and what it can actually be? Because a lot of people don't understand that what their actual true potential is. Like they see, I'm just this fat, overweight mess that doesn't eat properly. Do you create a vision for what they could be?
Yeah, we do. There's more so when people join the gym, they go through a process of answering questions, which is so the quality of questions will determine the quality of your life.
Yeah.
So by asking these specific questions, we find out in people straight away what are the things most important to them. So this could be called their values. So based off human behaviour, everyone has a priority of things that are most important to them. So even people that are overweight, unhealthy, there will be a select 2 or 3 things that they don't need any willpower to do. They always find the time to do it. They always find the energy to do it. They always spend money on it. They fill their surroundings and space with the things that are most important to them. So tapping into those things and making them realise how better health and their goals, their health and fitness goals, benefit those things, they create the same effect that those things do. And if you looked at that and you looked at those specific things in that person that were most important to them, you wouldn't call them lazy. Yeah. You wouldn't call them, get off your ass, you fat shit. You wouldn't call them lazy because they're really driven to do those things. Those things are really important to them.
Yeah.
So it's about them consciously recognizing how improving their health is going to benefit those things, because then it just becomes a no-brainer for them. Yeah. Because every time they do something, whether it's having to prep food on a Sunday to eat for the entire week to overcome that, or maybe stopping at 2 or 3 drinks instead of having 10 with friends, or buying into what your friends are saying in a social situation when you just want to have chicken salad and they're having a beer and steak and chips or whatever, and going, oh, what are you eating that shit for? Like, these are the things that are going to create them to push past those situations which put them in poor health, and it's also going to grow their self-belief as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that the reason I do that is because, like, you can't deny that that's the blueprint of how a person works.
Yeah, cool. What do you think the connection between, like, the psychology of weight loss and business is then? So you're just talking about kind of that a little bit. Do you want to go into a little bit more detail about that psychological connection?
So anyone who I've seen has had a large amount of weight to lose in regards to body fat has quite a low level of self-awareness. So, so 95% of our day, it's shown that we will operate on a subconscious level. So we're on automatic, just like when you turn a machine on. 5% for most people is we take conscious decisions. Self-awareness is about actually consciously knowing that 5%. In that 5%, you know what your strengths and weaknesses are. You know what stories you're telling yourself. You know what your fears are. And when you know all that, then you're able to overcome your fears more, because you understand that you created it yourself. So, from the age of 0 to 7, we're tape recorders. So we absorb everything. We have no choice about that. And this creates stories for us. So for a lot of people, we'll continue the same sort of story. So I guess my connection with this is that it's the same thing in business. Your level of personal development, whether it's a personal trainer or anyone running a business, is directly reflective of your level of business. Because when it comes to personal development and becoming more self-aware, the purpose of you becoming more self-aware is realizing that it's not about the money, it's about people. And when you have that experience with a client and you have that real human, authentic experience, then you'll start to realize that it is about the people. And if you drive your business off it being about the people and the exact kind of person that you help the most, then that's what creates raving fans about your business, because you go above and beyond because it's your passion. And that's why if it's not your passion, then you shouldn't be in it.
Yeah, definitely. Have you read the book, The Go-Giver?
I honestly haven't read the entire book. I've always had a very distracted mind. I'll read something from the last page to the first and stuff. So I've picked different parts of it, but it's really good, man, and it really aligns with some others that I've read. Have you read all of it?
Yeah, it's good. I read it all the time. So it talks about giving more in value than you take in worth. So that's one of the principles there. So it's just talking about that. So if you always go above and beyond for your clients, then you're always going to never have to worry about the money behind it as well. So
Absolutely.
It's definitely a great book to read to be able to get into as well. Any other books that you kind of recommend for those? So you kind of went through a few before. Any specifics for people getting either just into the industry or who have been in the industry for a little while and kind of need to refocus on why they're doing it?
Yeah, for sure. And like for anyone that's listening, that's a new personal trainer, you're about to get every single book that is, you're about to get the minds of the best strength and conditioning coaches in the world, and some guys that are right for men's health, men's fitness. So the first and foremost, I reckon, start with the success principles. Can't go wrong. Think and Grow Rich. And that book's not just about money as well. The 1 Minute Manager. Martin Rooney recommended that. Mastery by Robert Greene, I think it is.
I haven't actually read that one. Cool.
It's really long.
It
talks about the most successful people in history, their behaviour, and a few other things. Mindset by Carol Dweck is an absolute must in regards to being a personal trainer. You need to understand the fix and growth mindset.
Do you want to have a quick explanation of that then, while we're here as well?
Yeah, so Mindset, written by Carol Dweck, who is she's, I think, Masters in Psychology or whatever the highest.
PhD, I've got the book here. I knew you'd bring it up, so.
Yeah, cool, nice. Awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, so, but we can talk about one of the tests that were done in it. So the main takeaway from the book is understanding the two different categories of the type of behaviour. That we can fit people into two different categories based on their behaviour. So the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. So one of the studies that she did was with groups of people who were both failing their grades at school, a certain subject, and they were taken through the realization as to whether they had the fixed mindset or the growth mindset. So, for example, someone with a fixed mindset is someone who will become very defensive if someone tries to give them constructive feedback. Someone from the growth mindset will be someone who, based on how driven they are, will take that feedback on straight away and improve and be wanting to receive more feedback. Continue to be driven that way. So they made people have a look at this and see if they had those behavioural traits. It's to see which category they fit in, fixed or growth. And once they did that, when the people that realised that they were in the fixed mindset, they changed their behaviour to the growth. Not only did their grades improve, but all other aspects of their life they reported improved, because it can be applied in any other area. So the purpose of this book is to start understanding when you get clients or anybody you know, whether they're in the fixed or growth mindset, because the fixed mindset essentially means that they're fixed when it comes to development and growth and progress in any goal that they're trying to achieve. So we need to make them aware of that. So just like in that study, they can change to the growth mindset. And I'm happy to say that I have been able to progress people to that growth mindset that have had the fixed.
Yeah, definitely. And some of the examples she kind of gives are like John McEnroe was a very fixed mindset person, so he always liked to blame other people. And if you look at like Tiger Woods, he'd always look at working on his game continuously. There was a time where he actually went back and focused on his swing so much that he ended up like losing for about a year to become like the best he could ever be. So he was willing to do that work, even though he was the best, to get even better for a long-term result. So that was a good example that I liked in that book as well.
Perfect. We actually we just had Wolfgang Unsold on the podcast, who's one of Charles Poliquin's protege, and we were talking about Michael Jordan. Being a massive fan about him, and he actually just coached the USA under 17s basketball team. And the doctor was the doctor of the Chicago Bulls dynasty, and telling him some stories about Michael Jordan. But there's another book that you want to read called Relentless by Tim Grover, who was Michael Jordan's personal trainer. And he talks about three different metaphors of different kinds of people. So one of his is the cleaner. So the cleaner is the person, like you said, it was Tiger Woods, so the cleaner is the kind of person that will do more work than anyone else. That they're basically like just emotionally dead when it comes to any sort of negative feedback. It's like as soon as they achieve something, So the example that Tim Grover gave in the book was when Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls won their second championship and he was MVP. He walked into the locker room, sat down, and Michael Jordan started talking to him about how he needs to work on his jump shot in the off season. Yeah. It's just like, what's the next thing? So that's like, for me, that's the step. That's like the highest level of growth mindset for me.
Yeah.
So I reckon there's different levels. And the other thing you were talking about is also you can be described as coming from cause and effect.
Yep.
Like when the people think things are happening to them or they're taking full responsibility that they're creating everything within their life. So a good example to throw in is if you're a personal trainer right now and you've got some clients that you really don't like because they're not listening to what you're saying or getting the results that you want, it's actually your fault.
Yeah, it is.
So it's good to take responsibility for that because that's the only way that you're going to have a chance of changing that. And everything else that's going on with your business and everything else in your life is you. It's all about you. So this is why you got to get through your shit to improve your business and improve your clients' results.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like when I first started kind of in the fitness industry as well, as I didn't have the best kind of clients. I didn't like them that much. But when I started like cleaning up my own diet and leading by example a lot more, I started attracting better clients and more successful clients, and kind of just pursued that kind of way. And then I haven't looked back since. So I think leading by example is that key thing because really helps you get to where you want to be.
100%, man. Yeah.
In regards to coaching clients, I've heard you say this before. You think simple is better. Did you want to explain that a little bit more? Why is simple better?
I think, and Dan John, is one of the best strength coaches. He's written books and done everything. And I remember his interview with Ben Coomber on his podcast was talking about some of his interns. After, they'll say to him, "Oh, this is such an easy system that you put together in regards to strength training."
Yeah.
And he'll reply, "Yeah, but it took you 2 years to learn."
Yeah.
So, in regards to everything we're learning, you need to realize that the only people we need to communicate that to are people who know nothing about this. So we need to communicate it in their tone, their voice, so to speak. So their language.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand our language. So, if I put a post on Facebook and say, you need to eat more broccoli because it's got a high level of phytonutrients which your brain needs for this cell production or whatever. Like, people aren't going to respond to that.
Yeah, they don't relate.
Yeah, it's like, you need to eat broccoli because you're going to look good, feel better. That would be a little bit of an improvement because that's all they care about. So when it comes to nutrition, you need to make things as simple as possible for them to just get enough, like just to understand it and get their head around it. Because the deeper you go into information, then the more overwhelming it's going to be, because we know that as humans, we can only retain 5 to 7 things at a time. Albert Einstein could retain 12 to 15, but obviously he's got a much higher IQ than most of us. So and it's the same thing when we're verbal cueing for physical movements or strength training or anything. You can't say pull your shoulders back, push your knees out, make sure you push through your heels, flatten your back, tilt your head up. It just becomes overwhelming for them. So you've got to keep it simple. Once you feel like they've retained that and they've moved through those levels of going from what are the 3 or 4 stages? The first is unconscious incompetence, so you don't know what you don't know. So they don't know something because they haven't even been taught about the concept about it at all. Whether it's if they've never known how many calories their body burns, they don't even know that exists. And then it's conscious incompetence. So now they know that they don't know much about nutrition and they learn how many calories they burn. And then there's unconscious competence where they don't have to think about it. It's like driving a car. So you have to go through that process. You have to know that they've got that.
Yeah, and that the first stage is kind of the biggest one. They don't know what they don't know. There's just so much out there that they really don't know. So I guess the key point there is if you don't understand it, to talk about it in as simple terms as possible, you probably don't understand it well enough. So in regards to your certification, so you do PT mentoring as well. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Is this more leadership based, or is it skill based, or?
This is everything. So it's broken into 4 different modules.
Yep.
So just a background, just to help you understand. So, and this is, for PTs listening to this, it's important. This is why I spoke about the vision before, is because the vision is to change 1 million lives through health. And because I focus on that vision so much for the business, I now know how I'm going to achieve that, and that's through mentoring 1,000 PTs over the next 5 years. Up until June 2nd, 2020, I'm going to hold them accountable to helping 1,000 people. So when that happens, their business will explode. They'll create raving fans. They're going to do that in the right way. So what they need to learn, 4 different areas. One will be learning about human behavior. So becoming more self-aware. They'll be taken through a process to understand that. And then they'll learn how to apply that to other people. So when they meet someone, they know what's important to them. They know what drives them straight away as soon as they have that conversation, that first conversation with them. So they can really get them invested in having that strong desire to lose the weight or get stronger or get fitter or whatever their exact specific goal is. It's going to go beyond what that materialistic goal is, like getting into a bikini on the beach, because that's not enough. That's a superficial fake thing that they're not driven enough to get to. Otherwise, they would have already been there without your help. So this is about understanding human behavior and creating that great human connection. That's important. They need to know you care, and you need to understand. And this is also going to show you whether, like, when you have more self-awareness, you'll know whether you need to be in the industry or not, if this is really important to you. Because then you will care naturally, and it'll come through, and that's what creates a great business as well. So the human behavior side thing of it, which is most important, that's going to control your business progress as well. And there's the physical coaching side of it, the key exercises that you need to focus on. Every strength and conditioning coach, if you listen to Charles Pollock and you look at his blogs, look at his columns, like, he's had more Olympic medalists than over 200 in the world over his 40, 50-year career as a strength and conditioning coach, and pioneered the industry with his certificates. He says everyone tries to jump on BOSU balls or throw medicine balls around, jumping on one foot with all their clients. You just need to master the basics. You need to teach them proper strength training. You need to have some unilateral training in there. You need to understand how the body moves so you can fix someone's poor movement patterns, so they're going to move better, they're going to get stronger. And I could probably name about 10 key exercises that will completely change the shape of someone's body, have them injury-free, and also, having the best kind of effect in regards to metabolic rate increase or, calories burnt in a workout, that sort of stuff. So understanding these and understanding how to cue these and teach these to people that have never done these lifts or this exercise before, so they can get super strong and super fit and move well. So that's taking them through that guidance of all the verbal cueing they need to do and that sort of stuff. For example, knowing that they need to focus on 2 or 3 key things in the verbal cueings, because it might be too much for the person to take. The other thing is nutrition simplified. Like we said, you need to simply explain it to people, and also set up a system where for every client you have, you can communicate with them all on one level, instead of stop thinking one-to-one and start thinking one-to-many about how you can get your knowledge, your intellectual property to all of them and help them understand the basics. Like, these are macronutrients, this is what it does to your body, and how to communicate in their simple language so they can take that information and run with it and start to improve. The 4th thing is everything that I've learned about business, which, whether it's social media marketing, I got 84 leads in 24 hours by spending $70. So every person out of those 84 people was a potential over $1,000 worth as a client. They'll learn how to do that. They'll understand social media and marketing and how to actually talk to the exact kind of person that's going to love what you do uniquely as you, and understanding how to actually find out the personality of that person that you naturally attract that loves what you do. So much about business, man. My mentor that's worth over $600 billion, the things that he's taught me are amazing. Like, what billionaires do differently. So this is the business module is massive, but it all comes into a tie, and all that psychology stuff is very applicable to the business side. So the idea is for any personal trainer that's coming into the PT Success Academy is to go through this initial 12 weeks to continue to learn that and start to apply it to their clients and get better results, and start to build their business. And then they're going to be in a mentoring program for the next 5 years that sees them really have a huge mastermind of people that just grow and grow. We've already got people in there, obviously, but more and more knowledge there. So you think at any point in time you've got an issue with a client or your business, you reach out to your huge group of the PT Success Academy and go, guys, you've got this issue. Has anyone been through it before? And you've got the answer there. And that's the power of, the group that it's going to be, aside from all the knowledge that you're going to get. So really it just depends on if someone's willing to invest in themselves to actually take things to the next level, because most people think that seeing is believing. It's why most people won't get great success, whether it's in personal training industry, in a business or anything. But they need to believe that getting these skills, that the return of interest in that it far outweighs whatever you're going to be paying, because you've got those skills for life. And I've had that experience so many times. I started the business without investing any money in myself. I had saved $10,000 while I was sitting in the military, sitting in my room, reading books and listening to stuff about business mastery. And then I did a business coaching intensive retreat with a fitness professional that I knew had opened gyms in Australia in the last year. So I spent $5,000 of 10 grand I used Thursday for 12 months on him, because I knew that success leaves clues, and being around his behaviour was enough. I didn't actually make any money from anything he taught me for like 12 months, but the fact that I hung around with him, I still use some of the things that he was doing now. For example, having a whiteboard in your house is important for your goals and what you're doing in your business.
I just bought a massive one today. It's like the whole wall. And there's this company down the road that's just like shut down or whatever. So I got this like a standing desk, massive whiteboard that covers the whole wall. It was like $100. It was the best day of my life.
Cool. I want to talk a couple, just really quickly, man, about some real misconceptions over sales, because I'm sure there's so many personal trainers out there, they think that sales is like a used car salesman, or they don't know how to do it, or they think they have this experience.
And they have to use all these special techniques and stuff.
Like, as a personal trainer, just realize, like, I know you said it before, Cody, the person who provides the most value wins. So you need to listen to, here's another great book, Essentialism. So Essentialism is about the art of doing less and getting more out of it. So it's sort of like 80-20, like Pareto's principle. So listen for the signal in the noise when they're talking. Don't listen to the entire statements they're saying when they're saying, I want to lose weight, I want to tone up, or anything like that. Listen to what's the issue, whether it's the thing that they're not taking responsibility for, or if it's the thing that they really want to get out of this change. What's the strong desire? Why are they here? Listen to that signal and tap into that, and let them know about what's happening and why they haven't been getting to where they want to go with their health, or whatever their specific goal is at the time. And when they attach the solution to, when they realize like a problem they didn't realize they had, and they realize that through what you're telling them, they'll attach the solution to you. And this is important that you have good intentions, obviously, if this is the case. But just remember, as a salesperson, if you're talking to someone in regards to sales, if you're providing the solution to their problem, then that is all that matters. So don't worry about any other handling objections, that sort of stuff. But in saying that, when it comes to objections, realize that most people you're talking to are in that huge state of just telling themselves a story, and for about 4 or 5 times they'll say no, just because there's that lack of self-belief that they can actually achieve the goal. So remember that money is just transferred energy. If someone says they can't afford it, it's not true. It just means that they don't value it, because we were talking about values before. Anything they value, they will spend money on it. If they value McDonald's right now, they're going to spend $100 a week on takeaways. So you need to make sure that this is something that they just need to step up in, and they do. They can afford it because they value it and they believe that they can achieve the goal. And they might not believe it until you actually show them that they can do it and put those things in place and show them what wasn't in place before, and that's why they didn't succeed, and now they can. And things will change, you'll find.
Cool. In regards to like the fitness industry, if you could sum up what the biggest problem with the fitness industry is in one word, what would it be?
One word. Ego.
Yep. Why is
Yeah.
that?
It's ego because, like I said before, too many people are driven by money
Yep.
and thinking I've got to get to the next paycheck and pay my rent instead of changing someone's life, helping them. That's what we're here for. If you focus on that, you get everything else because you have the right intentions. You need to remove expectations. So, and I think a lot of people see ego as like someone who's, if we're talking about personal training, someone who's flexing in the mirror and going, "Oh, look how good my biceps are" and stuff. And I know that there's, I'm not saying that about you, Cody, because Kai Green is a massive hero of mine, and I know that he doesn't have ego. Like he's driven to improve other people.
Yeah.
And obviously, like you can't see that from just looking at someone visually. You've got to know what their behaviour is. What's their average behaviour by other things they say or do, not just flexing in the mirror. But that's just a bit of an example. Like someone who has a bit of an ego might go, "Hey, look at me. It's all about me."
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So, but the other flip side of ego thing, which I don't think a lot of people think about, is playing things down as well. So the sympathy card, if someone thinks, "Oh, poor me," like whether it's a client or whether it's a personal trainer, like, "Oh, I hate this client," or "Why is everything going shit in my personal training business?" Or why is my girlfriend behaving like this? Like this is another ego thing.
Yeah.
I feel like it goes both ways, and then that just perpetuates through anyone who starts a business in the fitness industry, or you see anything. It's like, okay, what's going to drive more money to this? I'm going to create a diet plan, and I'm going to get 250,000 Instagram followers, and it's going to, like, in one click of an Instagram post, if 250,000 people buy this $5 diet, I just made over $1 million.
Yeah.
So that's the ego. That's the money driven. So we need to get back to actually thinking about how many people can you help, give them the right information. And it's tough because then if you want to talk about marketing really quickly, still at the same time, for the people who need the education the most, the only way to communicate with them is through the marketing they've been programmed to experience, and that's through the superficial stuff. So it's like, if it's Bikini Body Challenge or someone like that, because I've done things like that in social media, and personally I hate it, but by doing that, I've been able to re-educate people who have only had that artificial, that superficial, materialistic goal, and started to build that self-belief and realize, hey, these are all the different things that your life are going to improve by, losing weight or improving your strength and your fitness or whatever the goal may be. Like it's the byproduct is the body.
Yeah.
Byproduct is a physical thing. So we really need people to step up and get the right kind of information out. That's my goal, man. I want to speak on international stages to do this, to communicate that to more people because of the confusing information, because of the money-driven schemes within our industry.
Yeah, it's kind of how the industry is. We kind of need to sell them what they want, but give them what they actually need to get the result that they're looking for. Because everyone's like, all right, just 5 kilos, need to get 5 kilos off in the next 5 weeks, and then that's it, whatever, don't need a trainer anymore. And it's just changing that mindset of, like, over time, we can drop you 5 kilos here, but we're going to improve your life in every way from then onwards. So we're going to create those good habits and be able to move on from there.
Yeah, perfect, man. And that's the same as communicating their values in their language. It's their language that matters, and then you can reteach them, because if they already knew what they really wanted, then they wouldn't need you to point it out.
Yeah, for sure. And I kind of find that a lot of the trainers in the industry, the ego is definitely probably what I'd pick as like the one word as well. A lot of trainers, because they don't know what they don't know, they think they have the skill set to be able to take people from where they want to go to the end goal straight from their course, and they just don't have that skill set because they haven't learnt enough. They don't have that experience. They don't have the leadership skills. They're missing all of these key things, and because they don't know what they don't know, they just go at it and basically can just injure people. So, like, the best example of this is like CrossFit. So CrossFit's great concept in theory. However, people are too egotistical. So they're like, all right, I want to be able to do 10 muscle ups next week, when they just don't have the movement patterns for that, and they're pushing through and they do the wrong technique, and then they just get injured. And CrossFit has kind of that bad reputation of injuring heaps of people, and it's not because CrossFit's bad. It's because people aren't progressing properly, and the coaches there don't have enough skills to be able to progress them properly as well, because the ego will just get in the way of that. Do you kind of agree with that?
Yeah, but a very important factor that the coach, it's entirely dependent on the coach. CrossFit isn't the issue; it's the coach. So the coach needs to be a personable. The coach and any personal trainer and anyone who wants to master business has to be have to master communication.
Yeah,
you have to be able to show the person a great deal of empathy. Firstly, when you're going to pull them back from their egotistical action of wanting to jump up and do 10 kipping chin-ups when their rotator cuff is going to tear.
Yeah.
And that has to be really intelligently done. If you just go, get your ass off that pole, you're going to hurt yourself, they'll probably say, fuck you. So it's all dependent on the coach. I've met some amazing strength and conditioning coaches that have so much experience that are running CrossFit gyms and doing it so well. So, it's just all dependent on the coach, man.
Yeah. I kind of find it, it's going to be very specific. I'm just more bringing up the point of like the coach. If they are too egotistical, it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's the self-awareness again.
Yeah. Same thing with like I work with a lot of athletes in kind of bodybuilding as well. So a lot of those people, they think it's all about them, whereas some of the people who are in the industry are going to be more like, it's all about doing this to be able to motivate other people to improve their health and fitness, and they're the ones that actually make a difference compared to the other people who are on stage. They're like, I should have won, I should have beat you. I see it all the time backstage. People are like, you know what, I thought I was better than you, like whatever, I should have won. When it's more about, hey, you know what, this is the journey I've been through. This is how I'm going to motivate other people by going through that journey, pushing my body to the limit. To be able to improve, and that's going to motivate other people to improve their health and fitness as well. So
absolutely, man, and that's leadership, that's success in business or as a personal trainer or as anyone in life, is the ability to not react to someone with that kind of behavior and really step up and be the better person. Like, not many people can do it, and I love Kai Green for that reason. Someone in your niche, he's entirely pushed by the vision and his art and really like inspiring people through that and changing the face of bodybuilding. I truly believe that he has already. Yeah.
Completely different personality to some of the other people who are out there who are in it literally just for themselves. So, and money, naturally.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing. Like, I know multi-millionaire people who run multi-million-dollar companies. They still have poor self-awareness. The unfortunate thing is you can still do it because someone can become really, really driven and really, really successful, but still lack that self-awareness. So, I've had mentors that have run those multi-million-dollar companies and still have a really, really high turnover within that company because they have a poor culture. Because they don't realize how shitty that they're treating their employees because they're like looking at it as a manipulative way to make as much money as possible, looking at their employees instead of really like fulfilling what they want to get out of like their work or their life or whatever. So like if someone's driven enough, I'm sure some of the Mr. Universe guys do have that ego, unfortunately, or whatever. So it's why it's so important to talk about this stuff and get them to change their ways as well.
Yeah, it all comes back to that kind of that fixed and growth mindset as well. So if they've got that growth mindset, they're constantly looking to progress, or if they're fixed in their own kind of mindset, then they're just like, all right, I should be the best. I've kind of done the work, but if I'm not, then I'm kind of a failure as well. Whereas the people in the growth mindset are like, this is just a process along the way, rather than it's kind of like the journey versus like the outcome.
Yeah, and if people like if you're listening to this and you go and research and you look at fixed and growth mindset and the different behavioural traits that there are, and on the picture that you'll get in Carol Dweck's book at the very end of it, you can just flick to the end and get this picture, and this will make more of a difference than reading maybe the first 100 pages. See the different behavioural traits. I think if people don't know those two categories of the behavioural traits, they still might only be half of the growth mindset, or like. Say maybe someone will still be really driven, what can I do to succeed? But they're taking feedback poorly still. So I think growth mindset with a side of altruism, which is like altruism is serving other people. So if they know that it's for the greater good, their worthy ideal that they're pushing for, that's their legacy to make a difference to others, it's not all about them, then that's a better combination to push the ego out of the way.
comes back to like the name of what I talk about as well, chasing gains. So it's that constant progression and that constant journey to the outcome that you're kind of looking for, even though the outcome's going to change over a period of time as well. It's not just going to be to get to this one point and then we're stopping there. We're going to keep going and keep progressing and keep growing and keep helping more and more and more people. So I'm no doubt when you get to changing a million people's lives, that vision is going to change. That's only till 2020, was it?
Yeah, 2020, June 2nd.
Yeah, yep. Awesome. So by June 2nd, I got to ask.
June 2nd, I started the business.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and then there's something else next year that I'm choosing, which will be another monumental shift in business on the second year. So I just decided to make everything on the anniversary of launching the company.
Cool. Yeah, it's a great way to do it. Yeah, cool. So talk quite a bit about like the gains and the results that people are looking for, just in regards to like your kind of training as well. So you, as a leader in the industry, you kind of have to lead by example. What kind of gain or outcome are you looking to achieve with your own training at the moment as well, trying to be that example to your clients and other personal trainers? So
yeah, well, I've been progressing through a bit of back injury the last 2 months, but my main goal, however long it's going to take, is I want to be able to do 120 kilo Olympic lift snatch.
Cool.
I want to be able to do static one-handed handstand.
Yeah, that's a big goal.
And I would say a new goal of mine is I want to be able to, well, actually two. One would be an L-sit, so a handstand press on parallettes.
Parallettes, yeah, cool.
And just being able to, well, in order to do that, I'll need to be able to be in the pike position with mobility where my hands are on the floor, leaning over with straight legs. So a lot of our progression, I know you've been in real movement as well. So we if we want to lead by example, we need to be working on every kind of movement. So I've become much more focused on gymnastics positions, like holding a strict handstand for 30 seconds. I mean, I think my best is 15 seconds because, that continuous attitude of applying yourself every day, I think that's great leadership of doing something that you can never really master, like juggling. If we look at the improvements in your cognitive ability, then you might not look at someone that's in the circus or some weird kid that's down in the park juggling so strangely from your perception when you realise how much cognitive improvement you get from juggling, and it's a never-ending skill. So stuff like that.
Yeah, cool.
And it's used with top athletes as well. So.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so that might be it for today. What's the best way for people to get in contact with you?
Yeah, man, whether you just add me on Facebook, Darren Bruce, or like my page, Darren Bruce Coach, you can have a look at our Facebook page where we get all the results with a lot of people through the company, Empower Mind and Body, EMPOWER, Mind and Body. Through connecting with me, you can apply for the PT Success Academy, and we can just have a chat and see if you are that driven kind of person that I know is going to be able to really take action on the things that I know are going to grow their business, help more people, just create that massively successful mindset and become an industry leader and the right kind of example that we need.
Yeah, awesome. So we'll probably have your links to your all your social media as well. So are you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of those? Yeah,
I was going to say that, man. If you guys hashtag Life with Coach Bruce on Facebook or Instagram, you'll see some of the chats that I've had with leaders in the industry on my podcast, which is the Life with Coach Bruce podcast, which you can find on iTunes. And that's my name on Instagram, Life with Coach Bruce as well. And Twitter is dbruce3, and Facebook is Darren Bruce, DARREN, BRUCE. So just, happy to connect with you guys, and always happy to help in any way.
Yeah, awesome. All right, thanks for your time anyway, Darren. Be sure to check out all Darren's contact details and get in contact with him, and be sure to make sure you listen to his podcast as well. So he's already, how many episodes are you in?
I think we're at about 11. So in the next week or so, we'll release Wolfgang's, who's he's trained Olympic and international champions in multiple winter and summer sports. He's amazing. He's for example, one of the things that you learn is that his gym has no music because music actually affects the peripheral nervous system and changes the brain waves in your mind, so it's harder to achieve greater lift in strength training, same as with visual as well. So if you're doing a bench press and someone stands over the top of you, that will affect your ability to press more weight because your peripheral nervous system, because it's distracting your concentration to recruit more in your nervous system. So
wow, didn't know that.
Pretty awesome cutting edge stuff, man. We talk a lot about supplementation, a lot of stuff that doesn't work in regards to supplementation that you're getting from the chemist that you might be recommending to clients. Even stuff that I didn't know that Wolfgang said. So really good stuff.
Yeah. Really keen to listen to that one then. Awesome. Thanks again, mate. I'm sure we'll catch up with you soon.
You're welcome, bro. Thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. And it's really good to see someone else with another person with the right kind of attitude and making a difference. And I'm sure you will massively.
Yeah. It's always great to have great guests on like you, just to be able to share their message and help improve the fitness industry in any way we can. So thanks again.
Cheers, man. No worries.
Thank you for listening to Chasing Gains Radio. Be sure to use the Chasing Gains Radio hashtag on all social media. If you have any questions, queries, or comments about the podcast, use this hashtag. Thanks again for listening to Chasing Gains Radio. Be sure to share and like this podcast to help spread the Chasing Gains movement.